I literally spent a lot of money on courses just to learn. I was like, if I could learn as much and get as much skill sets as I can, eventually this is going to help me in some way. Like if I just keep learning about every single business and doing it. But honestly, I mean, I didn't get the massive growth until we actually started spending money on coaches, mentors, not courses. Welcome to Airpreneur. My name's Adam. This is Vince. We built a multi-six-figure Airbnb business while we were in our corporate 9-to-5 jobs. We ended up quitting and continued to scale, and now we're at 31 units. And we're going to be talking about a variety of different topics. And today we're going to be talking about entrepreneurship, what it really takes, the experiences that we learned, and how much we actually invested in coaching. So I kind of want to start off first. Prior to you and I ever working with a coach on any business aspect, right? What was your opinion of coaches, and had you ever actually invested in one prior?
Man, good question. So I didn't think they were a scam. I was of the mind that they were overly expensive, right? So it was because I was totally new to the industry. So like I think I was like most people who look at coaching and they're like, oh, $5,000, like $6,000, that's insane. So like I didn't see the perceived value of paying that high ticket for a coach at the time. Now, I was a big proponent of courses, right? So I bought, I mean, thousands of dollars of courses for certain like minor things. Like
what?
I did an Amazon FBA course, like Jungle Scout, which I didn't like, dude, I honestly spent like just weeks doing the product research and did nothing with it. And then what else? Bought courses for video creation, content creation, other courses for like when I was doing like music creation, stuff like that. But I wasn't big into coaching. I did maybe join the Amway program for a little bit, if you remember that, like that big thing. Yep. So I met Charlie Durso.
I didn't know that. That's funny.
Yeah. I got pitched. I actually don't think I bought it. I met with them like many times because I had a friend that was like part of it. But anyway, did not spend a fortune in coaching. So yeah. What about yourself?
Well, there's a difference between coaching and courses. Coaching, you're actually working with the person who has a successful business.
Oh, yeah.
And courses is just pre-recorded video content. I had spent a lot of money on courses, never on coaches.
Right.
Until
big difference.
Until like I spent on one, and it was the best experience I had. One of the best experiences I had. But prior to that, it was just a bunch on courses.
Who was it?
Well, I did a lot of courses from like Ty Lopez.
Did you?
Grant Cardone.
But courses.
Courses.
Okay.
E-commerce people. YouTube automation people. Like I literally spent a lot of money on courses just to learn. I was like, if I could learn as much and get as much skill sets as I can, eventually this is going to help me in some way. Like if I just keep learning about every single business and doing it. But honestly, I mean, I didn't get the massive growth until we actually started spending money on coaches, mentors, not courses, because courses don't really get you the results. Courses is like the easy way out. Like you want to, it's like a hobby.
Courses like to me are only useful for like learning a technical skill.
Yeah.
Like that, not necessarily like an income generating skill, because like an income generating skill, quote unquote, typically has so many other facets of it. It's more business oriented. Like there are other components you're going to need guidance on. But yeah, like just a technical skill.
So these can get expensive, but it can also be really worth it. Do you want to say how much we spent on our most expensive mentor altogether? The total amount we paid our most expensive mentor.
Our most expensive mentor, we paid for this one mentor a total of about $65,000.
$65,000, which is for most colleges, some colleges 2 years, but I think a lot of private colleges 1 year at least worth of college education. Okay, in your honest, be completely honest, was it worth $65,000?
Absolutely. I mean, to be more specific, like, all right, so there's two sides to that answer. The one side is the emotional side, which is like, did I enjoy the experience? Did I like the experience? Did I feel the value? All that stuff. Then the other side is the actual financial, like, rational side is, did we 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x that investment? I don't know the precise figure of. We easily 10x that investment, like just that one investment, right? Easily 10x that investment. With regards to just the experience and the value overall, I was challenged, dude. Like as a person, with what I wanted in life, my own mindset. I was challenged on my work ethic. I was challenged on my priorities. I was challenged on it caused me the most discomfort, I think, on the planet. And it's, you look back and you say that was one of the most necessary things I had to go through.
I think, look, definitely we learned all the tactical stuff. We learned the skills. We had to do this, do this, do that, like the really logistical, technical things to actually make the money. But you talk about the mindset conversations that we didn't know we needed. We had hours of conversations with this mentor on this. And I also got really challenged. Now, I had prior exposure to this mentor to work through some of this out. But it was still like a crazy amount that you don't even realize you really need when you're getting entrepreneurship. Oh, so many entrepreneurs are so fear-based. They're so scarcity-based. They're always afraid things are going to go wrong. They don't know how to delegate. They're control freaks. They have to do everything themselves because they're afraid of losing things. They're afraid to scale because they don't want their profit margins to go down. They don't know how to make decisions quickly because they don't believe in themselves. Like these are all things that you have to be able to get over. And I think that's why self-development in general and self-development books are a great way to actually read and get into it, to start like asking these questions in yourself and getting into that as well. Now, I gotta say, when we first worked with this mentor, we spent 20 grand first, right? And I did it without telling you. But he saw so I paid the mentor without telling him 20 grand. Our business account, right? Didn't tell him, spent 20 grand, but he got a notification that 20 grand was spent. Tell me your reaction when you saw the 20 grand charge show up.
For context, we were scaling our Airbnb business. We grew that business to, several six figures by that point, right? So we were doing okay. And then I remember we were just like briefly talking about like, oh, like let's, maybe we can leverage this knowledge and build another business, because I tell this to everyone, is like the Airbnb business is so passive once you actually get it up and running and have your operations. If we were to just live off of Airbnb alone, we'd be bored out of our minds. Like we'd be just bored out of our minds, right? So we wanted to start another business. We were dabbling in the idea of like maybe starting a coaching business or whatever. And it just went in like a week's time. It just went from like, yeah, maybe we should start a coaching business to like, yeah, I know exactly who we should hire. And then like a notification on my phone for 20 grand. And I was just like, I sent you a text, I think all caps. I was like, what did you do? I was like, what have you done?
And I remember I'm laughing about that, like reading it to the guy as I'm doing it.
Yeah.
But I knew that we would easily make that money back and that it would be good for us. I think this leads to a question for a lot of people, which is, look, a lot of people are like, yes, I understand mentors are helpful. Yes, I understand you need to invest in yourself. But there's a lot of scammers out there. There's a lot of people who aren't actually good at they're just good at marketing, but they're not good at coaching. Because there's a big difference, right? I think people have a misconception with the amount of followers people have. Like you can have 200,000 followers and be a shit coach, and you can have 500 followers on Instagram and be absolutely amazing coaching in the field that they're coaching in. Because you got to think about it, right? Let's just say that your goal is to get to $10,000 a month in X business. I won't even use Airbnb. I'll use a different one. E-com. Your goal is to get to $10,000 a month in e-com. Okay. You find somebody who's doing $30,000 a month in e-com. They're ahead of you, right? You're at zero. So even if you only get to 1/3 of their success, they know a lot more. They know enough to get you to $10,000 a month.
There's a certain humility you have to have with that as well. I think so many people that like they go into corporate and they scale the corporate ladder a bit before diving into entrepreneurship, they tend to feel like, well, I don't want to work with the small guys. Like I want to work with the best.
Yeah.
But it's like, dude, like you got to realize like even that quote unquote small guy who's doing only $50K a month on e-com
compared to the person doing $1 million a month in e-com,
it's 500 times more than
could be a way better teacher.
Oh, absolutely.
Could give you much more investment one-on-one. Could actually get you to $10,000 a month much faster than the person who's doing $1 million, because the knowledge gap is still really high from you to get to 0 to 30,000. You're not trying to get to $1 million. So once you get to 30,000, maybe then you hire the coach that's at $1 million, because you can actually leverage the knowledge you don't have. But you're at zero. So like getting from 0 to even 5K per month from somebody who's at 20K per month is way better off. You're way better off. But back to my question, what do you think people should look for? And in all fairness, maybe I'd be better suited for this question just because I've purchased and worked with a lot of people, but you have too at this point. What do you think the main things are to look for in a mentor to know that they're going to be a good teacher and that they're going to care, and not somebody who you spend $20,000 on or $10,000 on and you'd never hear from again, or you get the most basic thing ever. You just get a course and content and community and you don't really get your answers answered and you don't really get what you paid for?
Are they knowledgeable on the business model? Like when you hear them talk about whatever it is, like let's just assume we're talking about a coach to teach you how to build a business, right? Are they knowledgeable on the business model? Like, are they clearly passionate about what they're teaching first off? And you can tell, like if you just watch shorts or videos, are they literally just like reading off a teleprompter, kind of giving like surface level info, or are they just like, are they bringing the energy and the enthusiasm behind what they're talking about, right? Like, so there's that. The second is like, like, do their people support them? Like, there are a lot of guys. There's actually a closer coach I know that's out there. His name's Marcus Gilhooly, a young dude from like the London area, I think, like UK, and his community. Like, I don't even need that type. Like, I'm not even looking for that type of coaching package, but I just see the camaraderie in that community.
Yeah.
The guys love him. Every single comment on all of his stuff, it's like very positive, very optimistic. Like, does the community seem very supportive of one another? I think community is a very overlooked thing. I think most people look at a coach and they say, I want to work with that guy, but they totally disregard the community side of things because it's like, oh, I'm too good to be part of a group chat. But it's like, dude, the other people in that chat are probably where you're going to learn another 50% of what you paid for. So, is the community good? Do they seem like they have camaraderie and value for each other? I mean, those are some of the minor things. And the last thing I'll say is, I would prefer a coach that has a slightly smaller following. I'd rather do somebody that'll give me a little bit more one-on-one attention than the guy that has 2 million followers.
Oh, yeah.
Because chances are you'll never speak to that guy, and if you do, it's on a group call with 600 other people. So, but those are my thoughts. Just only getting into coaching and mentorship for about a year and a half, 2 years. What are yours?
I'll give two ways of looking at this. The first one is going to be from like a personal, who is this person? Are they a good person perspective? And the other is going to be like actionable steps of like, just here's what I look for, this, and this. I'll do the second one first. And some ways to really find a coach or mentor that can help you. Because you got to realize, most people are starting off from zero. They're trying to get to 0 to 10K. 0 to 10K is a lot different of a ball game than 10K to 50K. Right? It's different. So most people can get to 10K per month in a business, honestly. I believe it, especially if you're the right mentor. So here's what I would look for. People that don't have a lot of following. I'm talking like sub 10,000 followers. Don't have a lot of following. People who don't have a lot of offers. So if you go to their page, they don't have like 5 different offers. Like, oh, there's Elite 1, Elite 2, Elite 3. There's a $2,000 offer, a $5,000 offer, a $10,000 offer, a $25,000 offer. If they have that, that means they're probably to the point where the only way you're actually going to talk to them at all one-on-one is in their highest offer tier.
Yep. Absolutely.
And the lowest offer tier is probably just a course, which we kind of talked in, I'm not even sure if it was this one or another one of our chats, that courses don't really convert. It's mentorships that do. So you want to be able to have access to them. So somebody who has actually less clients, maybe, they don't have 1,000 clients, they have maybe a couple hundred or less, right? And they only maybe have 1 to 2 options to work with them, is in their sub 10,000 followers, are all good signs. Now you actually look at their content. Like if their content on their platform, let's just say it's Instagram or YouTube or whatever you're finding them, if they actually are knowledgeable about the topic, you should be able to at least see them talking about the topic enough to know that they are knowledgeable. And then the other thing too is when you do speak with them, like you'll get a sense of how much they actually care. Like what are their values at? Like what do the other community members say? How active is the community? These are all important things as well. And I think another thing is just the marketing, right? What is the marketing that they're doing? If you're getting ads from them, are the ads for Lamborghinis? Are the ads for Rolexes and touting that kind of lifestyle? Because if it is, that attracts who? That attracts younger folks. That attracts 20-year-olds, early 20-year-olds, late teenagers. If you're somebody who's 35 with a family, you may not want to go for somebody like that because the chances are the people in the community are all going to be those early 20-year-olds. But if they're talking about just how to build a business, or they're talking about more professional, or they're talking about the family values, or they're talking about investing in a long-term future with their business, those types of people are going to attract older folks. Late 20s, 30s, 40s, which is pretty much our demographic. Our youngest people in our community is late 20s because we don't do this sort of flashy marketing. We do more of like, this is actually how to build a real business type marketing. That's a big factor in it as well. So if you're younger, you may want to be in that crowd. Like if you're an e-commerce guy and you're 20, you may want to be around those people who are 20 that are trying to do e-com, right? But if you're older with the family, you may want to work with a mentor whose marketing actually supports more of your values and what you're looking to get out of it, because you're going to have a better community experience.
Yeah, I think another thing too is like, you can just straight ask yourself, like be brutally honest with yourself. When you look at this person's content and you see what they've achieved and the type of business that they have and the type of lifestyle that they have, does it resonate with you? Do you look at them and say, I want to be in that same position? Right?
Yeah.
Because honestly, if it's like a guy that you're like, well, I don't really like him, I don't really like what he's all about, but the content's good and this and that, and you're just going to justify paying a lot of money to get some information, but you're not going to get fully engulfed in it like some guy that you're paying and you're just like, I literally want everything this person has and like what they have to offer. Another thing though that we kind of touched on a little bit, and then I don't want people to deter from not getting one-on-one coaching with the face of the company. Like, for example, I do think it's a fallacy to think that, let's just use a popular guy like I don't know, like Ryan Pineda, right? So now I don't know anything about his coaching
I don't
programs.
either.
I don't know if they're any good or anything like that. But let's just use him as an example. I wouldn't be afraid to join his coaching program just to learn that I'm not going to be spending all my time with him specifically. His coaching team and fulfillment team, if he really does care about client success, may be incredible. And honestly, what totally changed my perception about that was one of the big mentorships that we joined, because the other coaches in that company were fantastic. And even just like the people in our own community that stepped up to be coaches, they're truly passionate about Airbnb, building businesses, becoming financially free, and they just get really hyper focused on doing one thing really well. Like one of our coaches, Greg, for market analysis, like that's all he focuses on, and he just spends time with each individual student to teach them market analysis. And it's like, I think that having multiple coaches is actually such a value add. So it's not bad if you don't get to speak with Greg O'Gallagher. But the other coaches in the community, are they also worth their weight?
It's a good point, right? It's not just one of these factors. You're looking at holistically everything when you're looking to join that mentorship that's actually going to help you, get to that 10K.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. So if you are someone looking to create your own job-quitting Airbnb business and you want to scale it to 6 figures and beyond, then you're going to want to join our Facebook group. It's totally free, and all you have to do is tap the link below to join it at no cost. So we go live in there twice per week and to coach you on all of the latest insights, tools, and resources that we use to create our own business. So that way you could start earning your first few $1,000s a month on Airbnb.